I'm drinking chai.
Chai? Okay.
Yes, tea.
Why, Rajat? Why? Why only chai? Why chai?
Because
Nice.
Saturday is a non-alcoholic day for me. So yeah, that's the
Really?
real
So we
reason.
need to move the sessions to Sunday. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Then I'll probably come up with some something different.
Okay. Vikalp, what are you?
I am. It's a mix of multiple things.
Mhm.
Okay.
So it's a lemon with jaggery powder, or with your black salt, with your herbs, which we normally source from Himachal, my native place.
Mhm.
It's a combination of all plus evergreen brew herbs are mixed with it. So that's it.
Oh,
Wow,
hence
very good.
nice. You
Great.
literally upped the game of Ruh Afza, Like the boring Ruh Afza has been changed. Like
Made it
Yeah.
interesting.
That's
very
quite
good, very good, very
elaborate.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
pretty
Very
nice.
good.
Hey,
See,
Amina.
we don't eat
Hi.
sugar at all.
Hi, Amina. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Yeah. Hi, Rohit. I see Vivekanand as well.
I'm not able to see both the
No,
gentlemen. Oh yeah,
he's
Rohit
Hi,
is visible.
Gurleen.
mute, I think.
Hi, Rohit. Hi,
How are
Vivekanand
you?
sir. How are you?
Hey, call me Vivek. Why, sir, and all that.
I don't know. I'm
Making
like
me old man.
habitual. I'm like habitual of calling you sir. So yeah, I'll call you Vivek from now onwards.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I feel young that way.
Oh, Greg is here today. Oh,
Yeah.
after a long time.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. I see a couple of faces which are new to me. So Rohit and Vivek sir. Should I call you Vivek sir?
No.
Vivek.
Please call me
My
Vivek.
my bad. Sorry, Vivek. It's only Vivek.
You have to explain how come Gurleen is calling you sir. Did you teach her or?
Is that question for me?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I was asking how come our lovely Gurleen here.
I think we have been in the same group for the past, I think, 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And we keep exchanging some notes on the site. More to do with the human rather than any HR or any stuff like that. I think probably Gurleen is a well-read lady. So I appreciate her. She shares a lot. And
Yeah.
every time she shares something, I will buy that book and try to read it.
Oh, that's nice.
So sweet. Thank you.
Even Shineka also I read, and my daughter explained me about Shineka, what was the life he led. By the way, I have a 18-year-old daughter.
Okay. Well, almost my age, so. Nice. That's interesting. Thank you for sharing that. What are you drinking today?
No, I'm still at work. So Saturday also we work. So I work for a company called Tranquil Minds. This is basically a psychiatric clinic. I take care of operations and branding and other things. So Saturday is a busy day for us.
Oh, okay. Thank you for taking out time then to join, and probably you could say you're drinking water then.
Yeah, big bottle. I think probably I will switch on my video so that you can see. Okay. Yeah, this is my.
Hi.
Fab. Okay. So then you have your drink as well. I'll take
Yeah,
water.
I have my drink.
Rohit, what are you drinking today? And could you tell us a little bit about you, because I think it's your first time joining. You're in mute.
Rohit, you're on mute.
Let me just fix it.
Fix it.
Am I audible now?
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm drinking a tea now, but it's masala tea. My mother made some coronavirus masala.
Okay, I'm not alone.
Yeah. With chai, you can never be alone, because there will be someone who will always have chai.
Who's having chai? I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Amina, what about you? What do you have in your hands?
Same, a cup of tea.
Oh my God.
So there you go.
Okay, guys. We are moving away from chai pe charcha, and we are coming more to beers and please. I mean,
Chai Pe Charcha is completed in 2014, right? 6
I
years
don't know.
ago.
I've never heard any chai pe charcha ever. It's enough news for me anyway. So Chai Pe Charcha gets a bit too much for me. Hi, Greg. You're on mute.
Hi.
Nice to see you again. How are you?
Nice. Good,
Hey
good.
Greg, you look pretty.
Hey.
You look quite different.
I
Yes.
look quite different. What does that mean?
I don't know. You look different. You look fresh. I think. Maybe
Oh,
it's the color. Maybe it's the color. Red kind of
maybe it's the color.
really nice on you.
Yeah. Thank you.
What
Thank you.
What are you drinking today, Greg?
I started a little early. Yeah. I finished 2 cans of beer and decided not to right now. Otherwise, I need to have some sense getting into this meeting. So.
Don't worry about that. Don't
No, I
worry.
think
It's
that
a
means
group of
yeah.
psychologists.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
means he's set and he's in a good mood.
I'm set. I'm
So
set.
we still have to reach to your level.
Yeah.
We'll do that eventually.
Yeah.
Hi, Gauri.
Hey Gauri,
Hi Sakshi, hi Gurleen.
Hey, how
how
are
are
you?
you?
All great. I'm having my tea. It's tea time now.
Wow. Okay. Everybody's having tea. Okay, fine, guys. I get the hint.
Switch over to tea.
I feel like sometimes my network just goes away. But anyway, it's a big group today, so welcome everybody to another episode of all of us. And I think this time me and Gurleen, we took a different approach. We had this idea that we'll ask everybody what you guys want to talk about. And obviously in the last sessions we have just talked about so many different things, so many ideas, and usually because we have a shorter sessions, people leave with an idea or people leave with something new, and somebody might go and search for it more, or somebody might write a post about it. And that is the kind of aim and the point, that instead of getting full on into a discussion debate mode, we get into more leaving thought provoking ideas for each other. And I think that is going really well. So I think it was almost Gurleen's idea, and she said, you know what, we need to ask people what they want to talk about, because we are out of ideas now. We don't know what else we want to know from you guys. So everybody chose trends that we are taking from 2020 and into 2021. And I think for me it is beautiful to see that people chose that, simply because it shows that we are looking ahead, we are thinking ahead, we are saying, okay, fine, whatever is happening, whatever is going on, 6 months have gone by. What are we going to do next in terms of business, in terms of personal habits? Um, so, yeah, everybody, even for our new joiners, this is more of a discussion, a chat. Be informal, be candid. This is not subject matter experts. This is not panel discussion. There is no podium. Usually, I will ask random questions to anybody just because I'm feeling like it. And feel free to do that as well. So yeah, that's just have fun with this.
Awesome.
Yep. Go for it, Gurleen. You were saying something.
No, I'm saying I think it's a great topic and it's a pertinent topic. And, from 2020, a lot has changed already. And our focus this time is not to talk about COVID again, because that has been, we have been talking about it since eons now. Now, the idea is, making the best of the present time, and how do we kind of make tomorrow better. So that is the whole idea. So maybe I could start, Sakshi, but before that, cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Yes.
So I can start with what I feel, what 2020 taught us, and what can we do different in 2021, and what do I foresee. So I'll start from semiotic lens. For people who do not know what is semiotics is the study of signs and symbols and their use or interpretation. A lot of literature professors like Joseph Campbell, psychologists like Carl Jung, they have already talked about semiotics and symbols and their meanings. So picking that, I want to start this conversation. So if we look at mask, the literal translation of mask in Hindi is mukhota, right? And what is mukhota? Mukhota is nothing but, in Carl Jung's term, it is a persona, something that you, put on, a mask. Like for instance, in last conversation, Rajat also talked about the character Joker. So Joker had this persona, and he also had a shadow. Shadow is your dark self, right? So earlier, back in the day, masks का क्या होता था? Masks used to be looked at in a negative way, right? मुखौटा है, ठीक है? And then a lot of from a lot of women, like Muslim women, would wear the veil. And then Hindu tradition also, they have like a concept of gungat, right? But now the concept is changing altogether, and we are looking at mask as a new way. Now it has become a fashion accessory, right? It's a new thing, right? And I think times have changed, and if I look at from an industry perspective, if we look at retail and fashion industry, a lot of designers like Anita Dongre, Masaba Gupta, all of them are coming up with masks. So I think in the retail sector, on the fashion sector, this is going to increase massively. And then also using 3D printing, because right now when you're talking to each other, you can't see, if you have a mask, you can't like read someone's expressions, right? So now people are also printing their faces. So instead of like blue band, you'll have a picture of your mouth, and you don it like a mask. So that's there. Films and movies, a lot of Vivek, if you don't mind, I'm just putting you on mute. If you want to talk, you can unmute yourself, okay? Okay, yeah. So now if we talk about films and movies, now there is a lot of demand in the market. What do we do? घर पे बैठे हैं, देखना है, कुछ तो देखना है, TV में देखना है, right? So now there is a lot of demand and less supply. So अभी मैं कल ही देख रही थी, there was a film on Netflix. Kristen Stewart has made this homemade film on Netflix. So I'm seeing a lot of artists coming up with their own creativity. They are expressing themselves through art, through films, and without taking a lot of time. So this is just the beginning. Like this is just a pop culture trend that I'm talking about, pop culture, society, or change in psyche in general. And in case you have similar ideas, then we can probably build on it. What do you guys think? Any similar ideas there?
Yeah, I think we are already seeing a boom of creativity and innovation, like you said, 3D printing and artists making movies from their home. So we Indians are anyways expert in jugaad, and we've already seen that in the last 6 months that we've literally innovated our way of being. So people who are working from home now, almost everyone, so we have a separate space of home studio or home office, which kind of did not exist earlier for most of us. So there's that thing. But when I see about pop artists and the culture that they're bringing, I also see a huge scope of talking about concepts and matters that usually don't get highlighted. For example, mental health. Now we had this series 13 Reasons Why, a beautiful depiction about mental health and everything. So I think a lot of us is getting an idea of what a person suffering from anxiety or mental health problems is usually faces on a very like a teaser, a hint level of it. So I think a lot of people are going to be talking about it in the terms of their art. So I've seen people who wear makeup and they talk about social issues or the message via their makeups, body paint. So like you said, artists and pop culture, I think they're going to really bring themselves out there. And innovation in terms of a lot of startups, a lot of people with creative ideas who didn't have time because of their studies or their office. Now they have the time to work on their ideas. So now we'll see a sector of different ideas, creativity. These people are going to bring about solutions to the problems that they've always wanted to bring about. So I think, in that sense, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So creativity, pop culture, everything, it's going to be amazing that way.
Yeah. And also solopreneurship, for that matter, gig economy has also started because of that. People are following their passion instead of looking for a job. It could be anything. Yeah. It could be cooking, it could be painting, it could be even, working out. So people are making that there.
Yes, I hear that, Gulleen, definitely. And I think, Ameena, you touched upon something really nice there. I think you touched upon creativity and how people are, so they're I'm not going to say they're completely changing their jobs, but they're doing their jobs differently. And I'm not just talking about working from home, because that's just a different style of working, but actually bringing creativity in what they are doing and how they're doing it. So I saw this model on Instagram, and obviously she would go for shoots and stuff. But now the photographer is clicking her photos over video call. So he'll video call her, and then he'll take the screenshot, and the screenshot turns out to be the actual image for the campaign. And I think it's such a small example, but it just shows that there are things that you're going to take from the circumstance and actually make them creative and actually make them useful for the future as well. So that is again something that you could continue to do. You could have a whole campaign around it, or other people could start doing that. So I think definitely creativity, not just in terms of this is a situation and this is how we deal with it, but actually changing the style and the way you're working, in kinds of activities that you do. I mean, Gurleen, we started Glass Half Full during COVID, and it was very much a response to the fact that, right, there is no networking anyway, and there is no informal chats. So what is a better time to start, and what is a better time for people to kind of join in and chip in, when they're looking for an outlet. So definitely good points there. What do you think, Rajat?
Just unmuting it. Yes. Yeah, definitely. Great ideas, shared here. And I'm particularly interested about and keen on what you shared on solopreneurship. And people are going to be taking their passions ahead rather than, and we're going to see a very diverse, set of work and professions and quite unique, full of uniqueness. Um, I saw a survey somewhere on LinkedIn, and this Vijay did not join today, right? So Vijay did a survey. He did a very interesting survey, which really caught my attention. I also participated in it. So he asked in that survey that what's been your biggest learning since the last 3 months of this lockdown or the situation that you've been in? There were 4 options: learning about yourself, learning about the business, um, learning about your relations, or learning about technology. So number 1 was learning about yourself. And number 2 was learning about relations. So I think if people, if a large majority of people are considering, self-learning or self-discovery as the biggest lesson that they've had this year, now next year will be a time. 2021 will be a time in terms of how you apply what you've learned, about yourself and also about your relations, and how are you going to strengthen, how are you going to sustain it, over the course of time, because and everyone has been having this realization that there is a lot beyond work, that I have in this life, and now people are coming up with a whole list of travel plans in terms of when the situation gets normal, what are they going to do, and making that up as well. And so it is going to be interesting to see. And that's my key message and takeaway. And because I've also learned a lot over these months, and now it will be a time for me to apply what I learned, and apply with a lot of energy, with a lot of passion and enthusiasm.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my pretty simple thought in terms of summing this up, in terms of what I mean.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's really interesting, Rajat, really. And I think when you were talking about that, something came into my mind, and that is around fear as well. I feel like personally, I had a lot of fear. Like, I had moved to the UK and suddenly this happened, and I felt like I was really fearful of, traveling solo again or going to Europe again, on my own. And now I'm like, if I can live through COVID alone, I can do anything. I feel like I'm gonna go alone and stay alone, and that's gonna be fine. I'm gonna move to a different country, that's gonna be fine. So I think it's a lot about application, like you said, that how you're going to apply it, and also feeling that you got over this travesty and this global pandemic, and you're doing fine, and you saw things through. So how do you take that courage and that overcoming your fears and uncertainty, and put that into something positive? So definitely.
Another thing that I like to add is a lot of people, of course, including me and all of us, have learned a lot. So a lot of discipline in terms of managing your home and doing a lot of things by yourself, which perhaps you did not do. So how are you going to perhaps continue with it and then sustain is also a big learning and something to be looking forward to, which I believe.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think Rajat made a very well point right now. What he was saying is people have learned to live with a lot of things. So one of the things which I noticed within this town of Hyderabad, so many things can be achieved staying at your home. And also what I noticed is the family expenses of most of the people. Just I was having a general conversation in the groups and social networks. So many people learn cooking also because of this time. So people who are not cooking also started to learn cooking, and also whatever the dishes we are otherwise advertised in the restaurant menus, they are all now on the Facebook.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
so these are the changes, very positive changes. The other day, I just posted a message on the Facebook stating that thanks to COVID, the big splurge marriages, the marriage in Hyderabad actually happens in such a way. There's a lot of splurge happens, a lot of wasteful expenditure happens. So because of these restrictions of 50 people and all that, what I noticed was most of the marriages actually I don't see any traffic jams. I don't see any traffic coming to a grinding halt near function halls when you are passing through. These are rather positive sides of corona impacts. That's what I feel. But how these things are going to sustain over a period of time, that's I think a big challenge for all of us. So
Yeah.
what the lessons we learn, whether we are going to implement and apply that post COVID, that's I think that's a challenge.
Yeah.
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 I'm really interested to know what do we think together that we need to kind of sustain, to kind of sustain the good habits that we have formed. For example, living simply, not wasting food, or cooking and not eating out that much. All the good habits that we have developed, being, managing your home and your work properly. What do we need? What is the gap that will either make us sustain those habits, or they will just drop and we'll get back to how we were.
I believe it's the realization that we have had during this. I mean, I know there is better butter chicken in this hotel, but if I can make it in the house, maybe not slightly super nature, it's fine for me because the safety issue is there. But I can cook at home also now. So that particular realization of things that can be done at home also, and with your family, with the safety issues, it's part and parcel of life nowadays. So I mean, the one thing everyone learned is, I mean, there is a work for everyone, but they have that time to pursue their hobbies. I mean, at my house, my wife started drawing, but earlier she used to travel for 3 hours, and now she don't have to travel. So she started drawing. So that's the main thing. That's the main purpose of that lockdown. She rediscovered herself that. So that's the main thing to learn. And another one, we can say it's economy. It's the other thing around also. But once the hotel and all the industry will start, so are you going out just to try out new dishes which you can cook at house also at your home?
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know. I mean, that's a very big question.
Yeah. For some
Ultimately,
time, I think, for some time, people are not going to go to restaurants as openly as it was back in the day. That's true.
Another friend we have that he's running a cake shop currently. But nowadays, my mother makes a very good cakes at home. So whenever there is a birthday, she's making cakes for everyone's birthday. So we don't feel like going out and buying a cake now.
Yeah.
So it's harming economy also, and equally beneficial for us. So it's a two-way sword nowadays. So it's difficult to cope up for food industry now. That's what I believe in current scenario.
And Sakshi, picking the cue from Rohit, I want to propose this question to everyone. Now that we all are sitting at home, what about negative emotions? Because this is the first time we are spending time with ourselves the most. It has never happened before. So what about, days when you feel down? How are you managing those days, and mental health, like Amina already touched upon in the beginning. So what are your views on it? Maybe Vikalp can share, or Greg?
See, I would not use the word negative over here. The reason being that I don't believe into negativity, anything. Uh, but my point was, sorry, my point was that why did it took a virus which is not even visible to most of us to bring us to realization that whatever we were doing was wrong, most of the things. And now we are realizing that, oh yeah, it was wrong. As if we were not aware of them before. We were, but we didn't wanted to take action on that. Suddenly, uh, um, less than a 1 millimeter size of a bacteria is forcing you, or a virus is forcing you to change your life, which sadly, all these seminars, webinars of in motivation, leadership, and all those things which are happening, which were happening before, could not bring a change in people. But suddenly, one epidemic or pandemic came, and everybody's life has changed from like this side to this side. Now we are doing things which we have never done before. I mean, most of the people have never done before. Some people, they're trying cooking for first time and they're enjoying it. Even before, if they had time, they would not do it. So it is adaptability to the situation which people are taking right now. That yes, things have changed. We have to be adaptive to the new order of life. Going forward, well, if I look from now, I had a discussion with a couple of my friends who are facing their big challenges in marital life now, because they are not used to stay together for such a long time and in a house without going outside, without meeting new people. So in some cases, it is flourishing that yes, we could not get this time before, we are getting this time now to spend with each other, to know more each other. But in some cases, it is the situation has gone rock bottom. There is no looking back now. So maybe once the situation gets normal, they will either split up or they will try to mend ways. Now, why this has happened? When you were married from last couple of years or 3 years, just suddenly you are living together, you are not going outside, which means that there is an interference happening in each other's life. It might seem as an interference to some people. Some people might feel that yes, they are helping us out, but some might say it's an interference. And maybe now when we go forward, people will value their relationships. It can be family, it can be your marital, it can be your friends, anyone. I value my family more now because I've not met any one of them in the last 4 months. Friends, yes, video call is a new way of communicating, but that feel of connecting with someone when you hug them, when you meet them after a long time is completely missing. No matter how I do on video call like this, that feel will not come. So maybe next year or going forward, it depends on how we continue to live our life the way we are living right now. Apart from being to office, going to office regularly, whatever things we are doing right now, are we going to continue that or not? That is how you will take this forward. If you're not going to continue and if you will resort back to your previous life, okay, fine, everything is fine, virus is gone, we go back to our previous life, then this would be seen as, it would be seen as an anomaly that 1 year went missing from everybody's life. The year which gave a chance for every human being to realize what was happening around them and to mend their ways in terms of your environment, in terms of your health, in terms of your habits, in terms of your food, everything. So personally for me, I don't see any changes coming in me, just that I'm sitting at home every day. My life, whatever it was before, it is same, except for one thing, not meeting people regularly. Apart from that, nothing has changed because adaptability was always happening. No matter what, adaptability was happening. Apart from cooking food once in a while, that thing, because that was happening earlier also, now it has become a more frequent thing. So it's just me and my mom at home. So we have divided household work. So one day she cooks food, one day I cook food. So yes, efficiency has improved in me now for cooking. Going forward, I would like to continue this life, what I'm living right now. And I feel that it is making people more strong. from within. That even after, I remember when the lockdown started in March or in April first week, and we used to go out to take groceries, people were so afraid to go out. They would be fully packed with suits and masks and sanitizers, everything. Now, after 4 months, when you go out in the market, people are roaming just with a mask and nothing else. And there is no fear. So, which means people have accepted the fact that we are going to live like this. It is just the precaution what we have to take. Coming to the question, what Gurleen posed that the negative impact or emotions over here. It all depends upon the psyche of the person, what they're going through. I have seen a couple of my friends who are living alone, but they are they're very happy. There is not even a single dent of emotions I can say that they are going to negative side. But couple of people who are living with family as well, they have gone into depression now. Depression because they cannot go outside, they cannot meet new people, so they have gone into depression. Now, the question which came to me my mind was their life dependent upon other people or was it on their own? Why your dependency on other people are so high that now when you are getting time to reinvent yourself, you've gone into depression? So how much it will help people, whether a counseling or something will help people, I don't know. I have not experienced any such thing in my life. But yes, it is our upbringing to an extent which is playing a role right now. Lot many kids who have been pampered very badly in their earlier years, now they are facing difficulty surviving this period. And Sakshi, you're on mute.
Yes, sorry, I was just saying, Vikalp, please continue, but Gurleen, can you mute everybody else? Thank you. Sorry, Vikalp, going.
Yeah, it's fine. And a lot of kids who were, while growing up, where they were given the real scenarios of life, where they were thrown into the situation where they had to, come out on their own, they are facing no challenges at all. So it is also a time for parents to realize that what kind of parenting they want to give to their kids. I mean, my neighbors, their kid is like 7-year-old, 8-year-old, but they don't allow him to go outside. Why? वो थक जाएगा बेचारा बाहर खेल के. So what is the point? अभी खेलेगा बाहर तभी थकेगा तभी सीखेगा लाइफ के बारे में. If he's not going outside, he's not learning anything. So that's how the life has changed. Yes, Netflix, Amazon Prime, everything is hooked on. People are hooked onto it. But parenting style will change. And if parenting style does not change now after this situation, we'll see a lot more kids when they're growing up. They will not know how to tackle situations which can affect them.
Definitely. I think Vikalp, you raised so many good points there. And I always am so interested in what you have to say. I love that you raised parenting style as well and trends related to parenting style, because I think parenting and education is one of those things that is always going to be continued. Whatever changes that happen in these two things, you'd see those changes within generations, they affect generations. So definitely, I think a large difference coming up in parenting style and how that is going to play out. I don't know how parents are coping. I don't know how more careful they will become, more protective they will become of their kids, or will they become more open and letting their kids do what they want, because life is short, you never know. But I think what you also mentioned is realization, and what other people also mentioned is realization that this is how we can live, and continuing to live like that. What I fear is that once everybody's back in the office, or once everybody's going to the restaurants, you will feel like I can do the same things again. I can still eat out 10 times a day. I can still, waste some time. I don't have to do all those sessions. I don't have to book my appointment. I don't have to take care of myself, because you're again back in the cycle of what you were doing for the last 20 years, So I feel like it's going to take a lot of, especially when at this point where it's almost ending, where people are saying it's the new normal. Now is the time to really realize that there are some habits that I want to retain, and I'm going to put in some extra effort to make sure I retain them, even when everybody's eating out, or even when everybody, has left the chores to their partner, and you're not helping out anymore. So it's going to take some extra effort to kind of retain those habits, to actually make them habits and not just like reactions to what we had to COVID.
So parenting style, coming to that point of parenting style, I feel going forward, people will be more protective towards their kids now because of the situations. That's all right. You have to be protective for your kids, but you also at the same time give them learnings about how to cope up with situations in life. The biggest challenge right now, I feel, in today's parenting style before this lockdown. I don't know what is happening during lockdown, but before lockdown, people were so protective that they would not give them a chance to test their kids in difficult situations. They're eager to help. I mean, I remember when we were in school, when I was in school and when I was in college, I was thrown in the jungle that you have to find your way out from it. We are just supporting you, but you have to find your way out. So no matter what the situation comes in your life, I know how to tackle them. Even I might be wrong sometimes, but I'm figuring out a way for myself. Some people do not figure out a way. They just don't know how to figure out a way. And that is not their fault. That is the way they have been grown up. The way they have been fed by since childhood that this is the situation. That's it. We are there to support you at each and everything. I have a disconnect over there with the parenting style. I could be wrong, but my feeling that you have to allow your kids to go on their own. You cannot hold them forever to each and everything.
Definitely, Vikalp. I think you shared about your childhood and the way you were brought up in previous sessions as well, and that speaks a lot. And you were right that now is the time when how you were brought up and how you adapt and look at challenges that was put to test. And even though people had different ways of dealing with it, I think just the fact that just being aware that you can take more out of this year than just a mask and then just a webinar or a seminar. You can take out lifelong habits from
You
it.
never know what another pandemic can come in next year. So it was like an unexpected thing. So you never know what will come next year. So whatever learning you take might be not be applicable to the next challenge. You have to learn something new. So be adaptive. That's it. You just adapt yourself to the new situations. Learnings you can automatically generate and take it forward.
Yeah, interesting. So we have talked about trends in personal management, in parenting styles, in education, in creativity, in arts. What other trends are we looking at, in terms of our industry? Greg, if you have any inputs there, what other trends are we looking at in 2021 and going forward?
So thanks, Sakshi. That's an interesting question. An observation comes to my mind right here, right now, that we began the call, but am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we began the call by saying we're not going to talk about COVID, but guess what we've done? So that's also saying something. And we've also had this barrage of information which everybody's pushing back from now. But I think that's also saying something that COVID is something that you cannot get away from, and this is kind of an exigency which is taken the form of COVID. And I think in order to deal with it, we've had some good thoughts. I'm reminded of Feynman, who advocates a framework of thinking that you need in order to deal with reality or ever-changing realities or explorations. And I think it's in that framework that a lot of the answers lie. So I just want to talk about three points and squeeze them as much as possible. So to begin with the framework, I feel that we need to look at all of this, and Vikalp raise a couple of pieces that what after this pandemic do we go back to our old behavior, and why not? So I think the framework is our understanding of the term fragility. Maybe some of you've I read about it and stuff like that. So glass is fragile. You drop it, it breaks, right? What's the opposite of fragile, right? It is not robust. It is not. So if you drop glass and it does not break, that is not the opposite of fragile. The opposite of fragile does not have a word in the English language. And I feel the opposite of fragile is what Taleb is speaking of, is anti-fragile. So if you drop a glass, it should grow stronger. That's anti-fragile. Okay, so why am I talking about anti-fragile? I'm talking about it because the relationship that we have set up with Mother Earth, Father Earth, God knows, Mother Earth, let's just go with that, and us, is one is prospering or anti-fragile at the expense of the other. So for example, before this pandemic and stuff like that happened, we were prospering. A human being was prospering, doing well, growing, by one car, by two cars, by one house, by two houses, bigger house, etc., etc. But it came at an expense, and at that expense was Earth, right? So I don't pray too often, but the other day when I sat down to pray, it just came to me, why the hell am I asking the COVID to go away? Because guess what? Earth's given you. He says, take my trip for a century, 2 centuries, 5 centuries, 10 centuries. Hey, but for 6 months, can I have my own? And I think inadvertently, we have set up this relationship where one is prospering at the expense of the other. So right now, or at least let's say a month or two ago, the Earth was prospering. We could see clear blue skies, for once in India. Sakshi, I don't know, that's not a novelty for you, but for us over here in India, it is. And now gradually we're flipping the pendulum back to the way it used to be. Now, nature always wins. Nature always wins, and it's going to kick back. It's going to kick back, whatever. But what I'm saying is, so once we've established this, that one at the expense of the other. Now, how can we resolve this? I think that needs to be, so A, a framework, and B, a second question that we need to be asking. Now, I don't want to be reductive and say, here's the answer. The answer is complex, but I feel an approach to the answer could come in a couple of ways. So if you examine why human being does what she or he does, is because of the system that you place a human being in. So Sakshi, I'm pretty sure, and everybody else who's been abroad or seen, cab drivers abroad, you take a cab driver from India, breaking all the rules, put him in the US, Europe or somewhere, and very quickly this guy, he's sorted, right? Because the system is driving a particular behavior. So I'm thinking that we need to form systems that allow us. See, look at the lockdown. That is basically a system which is voluntarily, Janta curfew, which is voluntarily getting you into a zone of discomfort, voluntarily, so that the other system can prosper. You're not always taking. You're also giving sometimes, not all the time, but can give sometimes. And I think that these systems need to be put in place at different levels, at an individual level, at an organization level, at societal level, at a political level. We need to put these systems in place. Now everything is okay, lockdown over, everybody, have fun. I think we need to put some systems in place which allow a little bit of breathing for the Earth. Now you ask me trends, and I want to connect this to trends, saying, so one is that framework, second is that question of the how, which I'm trying to venture an answer. And I see in terms of trends, I see some pockets, some countries at different levels, at the individual level, right up to the country level, some pockets, some countries are moving closer and closer and closer to imbibing some of these systems. I just have one last point, and I'll go quickly. I feel that what this pandemic has done is very similar to what a lot of our meditative practices have done for us. Right? Let's just take something secular, Vipassana. When I say secular, I mean, well, not secular really, but Vipassana, the practice of Vipassana. So it just says that, or any other meditative practice, it says, no talking, shut down your senses, not regulate your food and stuff like that. So it's actually breaking you down a little bit. But I think, why is a lot of these meditative practices, why are they able to get people to leapfrog into a better state versus this period of the pandemic getting people into a depressed state and suicides abound, is because there are a couple of things that happen in the meditative practice that I feel if we pick up from there, we can use them and benefit from them. For example, the whole idea of the high priest, right? Now, I'm not saying that you look towards a guru or something like that, but business books have stopped talking about faith, right? But that's a very real thing today, because in this entire uncharted waters, for a lot of us, it's for a lot of people that have the faith in whatever, the universe, higher power, God, inner infinite wisdom, I don't know, but that's one. And I think the other one, in which I was reading also a lot of psychological research, is around rituals and the role that rituals play in fostering a culture, but also in keeping your your mental stability and stuff like that. So I see that the future trends lie in a lot of people rushing back to the way things were. I see future trends, and just to conclude now, I see future trends where at different levels, political, social, whatever, different levels, people and individuals putting these rituals, these systems, and everybody says change is the only constant. I don't think so. Now, this is interesting. I've not read about this. I was thinking about this. Change is not the only constant. Everything is changing, yes, but that's not true. What is not changing is good old-fashioned patience, good old-fashioned compassion with people. We see this in our families as this heightened strife, this heightened abuse. Child abuse is just through the roof nowadays, right? So these are some, good old things, universals, if you want to use Jungian terminologies, that can hold us in good stead. Compassion, patience, well, not so recent, but emotional intelligence. It's not a platitude any longer. That's the defining factor for a lot of us between life and death. Look at how many guys are jumping off, pulling the plug, hanging themselves. That's now not a platitude. So, yeah, that's my thoughts.
Really, really interesting thoughts there, Greg. I like how you compared COVID to a system. And I think that is what my thoughts were as well, but I couldn't put them as nicely as you did. I think definitely COVID has presented that kind of system, that kind of that kind of rules in place that have led people to do this. And I very strongly believe that even though we have a lot of compassion and adaptability and kindness towards ourselves, some things you cannot do until you're put in a situation or you don't realize you can do them. So that is why I think, Vikalp, when you said it took a whole COVID, a whole pandemic to make us do these things that we could have done before, but we never did, So I feel like that is my fear as well. Like you mentioned, Greg, that once it goes away, the trend would be rushing back to, things that we know how to do or things we were doing. And there needs to be somewhere around this time a point where we sit and talk to our family, or we talk to our offices, or if we can, we talk to our governments and say, look, we really liked how we were in the year. We really liked what it did to the earth. So we're going to continue this, COVID or no COVID, We're going to continue some of the practices that we have established or brought together ourselves, So I think it's going to take a little bit more efforts from our side. And that will kind of predict what kind of trends we have going forward. Is it a trend of rushing back, or is it a trend of taking a new learning? But I don't know how optimistic you guys are, but I am a bit pessimist about it. I put my money on the fact that people will go back to.
I think more than trends, actually, it's cyclical. Yeah, trends. Yes, trends will come and trends will go. Like Vikalp said, this thing's coming back. It's coming back with a bang. It's not an anomaly. It's not an anomaly. If you look at history, right since, not even history, just go back a few years, right since SARS and all of this broke out, and now bubonic plague, some crazy stuff. It's bound to happen again, because you're just overstressing the system. You're overstressing the system. It's bound to happen. And if it's happening over and over again, what I feel is nature is telling us, if you don't change, don't worry, I'm here. I'll get you to change.
Yeah.
I'll get you to change.
Yeah. Exactly.
To add on to that, what you've said, Greg, and even Sakshi, nature's here, like, it will help us change. I'm here to change you. And what you said earlier, Greg, about this whole system that needs to be in place, and Sakshi, what you said, you're pessimistic. We have to contribute more from our side. So here, what I'm thinking is, 2020, in a way, is a blessing disguised as a curse, because it's showing us our flaws, where we need to work. With models and systems in place, I think it will give everyone a guideline as a way to work. And with the self-discipline, like you said, Sakshi, if we have the enough discipline to follow through and understand what's right and wrong, maybe there's a hope, not for a perfectly bright future, optimistic future, but a hope that we can survive and course through in the middle. So I think the real thing is not what this 2020 year is teaching us that will shape our future. I think it's the decisions we make. Looking at the events that are happening in 2020, I think those decisions will shape. If our decisions are to remain the same, to go back to what the ways were, definitely the future is not bright. But if we decide on individual levels that yes, I'm going to change, if we have some rules, regulations, and models from the governments, from the organizations, that these changes need to happen, I think together we can become better. Like, there's no 100% surety, but things can get better. That's what my thought is here.
Yeah, I like your bout of optimism there, Amina. Really good. Really good.
She's not convinced though. Amina, she's not convinced. She said, I'm the diehard pessimist.
I want to be, and I like how you could see it in my face. I want to be, but I feel like, I don't know. I've seen too much things, and I feel like people have a natural tendency to go back to what they are comfortable with, or to recline back to a position. When you sleep in a fetal position. You sleep in the position that is the most comfortable and safe environment for you. So I feel like whatever happened and whatever learnings we had, the fact that people are calling it a new normal, I feel like new normal means that as soon as things are over, you're gonna go back and you're gonna say, oh well, that's over. That's that then. Let's go out and party again.
I agree with you, Sakshi. I agree with you over there. But we have a saying in Hindi, "Umeed pe to duniya kayam hai." So yeah, there's 100% surety. At least in India, I can say that people will go back to what they were doing with our lifestyles. But yes, maybe on an individual level, if we make some changes, maybe we can push someone. And you never know, like you said in the beginning, these conversations sparks ideas and people go on and research. Sometimes they discover something totally new. Maybe if we talk about it enough and try to find solutions and try to talk about it enough, I think maybe one by one, some people will pick up, the other people will pick up from them, and there's a hope. I'm an optimistic. I'm choosing to see the possibilities. But I agree. Things can go back to the way they were.
In fact, I'm also looking at these youngsters, teenagers. They are very conscious about environment and planet. I think the future generation is kind of they are cautious of all of this. So I think I'm also with Amina on that. I also see a ray of positive.
This pandemic has given a voice to the generation above us. They always used to say, live your life in a very simplified manner, do all this thing, do all those things, which we never listened to. So the generation now, they're getting a good voice. See, we told you for so many years, you didn't listen, but now see what is happening around you. And the generation, now the youngsters, so they both are on the one side and the generation in the middle category, like with 30s to 40s, those who have lived a generation before, now they're living life, they are the ones who need to change more, not the elder one and not the younger ones, because younger ones are adapting quickly.
Yeah.
It's the mid-age one which are finding difficult to adapt to the new situation.
Yeah. So millennials,
Thanks,
Gen Z,
Vikalp.
you.
You asked me not to change.
This is interesting. I think great final thoughts there. Great discussion as always. Does anybody have any final thoughts before I
The
go and write
swag
the
of
LinkedIn
nature.
post?
The swag of nature. What Greg said that, the Greg said that nature is giving us a hint in everything. Before this pandemic came, all these expansion of airlines, factories, and everything was going on. And it was overdue. It was overdue that something will happen. So nature just told, okay, hold my beer, I'll show you what my power does now. And suddenly the world came crashing down, all airlines are shut down, factories are shut down, everything shut down. And now I'm just imagining that the planet from outside, if you look from universe, the earth would be having a black specks on themselves and a gold chain coming on, then
That could be happening. We don't know what's happening there. But yes, I am so happy that we had this conversation, everybody. I hope Amina and Gurleen are right. I hope it is positive. Um, and I like that we discussed trends in different areas, so not just our industry, and obviously that is something that we all can discuss with our colleagues, just how psychometrics or HR or L&D is changing or mental health is changing, but also thinking a step ahead about parenting, or thinking a step ahead about crafts and arts and media. So thank you as always. Gurleen, do you have any final thoughts, or if anybody has any final kind of comments?
No, I think I will just raise a toast to the better normal.
Better half.
To the better normal. Yeah.
Glass half full then. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your weekend. And I hope that I come, because I'm really missing Bhujia right now. So I hope I get to come to India soon.
Okay.
And we can all do a in-person glass half full.
Yeah. With the masks on.
Yeah, sure.
The mask on.
Yeah. So I'm driving, that's the reason I had to put on my mask.
Okay.
Good. We see you're following the rules, so very good there.
No option.
No option. Okay.
Bye
See
bye.
you guys.
Bye everyone.
Bye.
Right.
Thank you.
Have a
Bye.
good weekend.
Bye everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Rajat.
Bye, guys. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.